Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. We are students from the University of San Francisco, and today we'll be discussing workplace incivility and how the way we treat one another impacts not only our work environment, but also the quality of care that we provide to our residents. A lot of us actually started here as first semester nursing students, and now that we're in our final semester, it's very nice to see that we came full circle and we're back here. Workplace incivility is a common problem in many environments, and our reason for being here today is to address it within this facility. Our goal is to not point fingers or assign any blame. Instead, we want to create an open conversation about how we can continue building a respectful, supportive, and collaborative workplace where everyone feels valued and heard. By the end of today's session, we hope that you'll be able to, one, better understand what workplace incivility is and recognize how it can affect our workplace culture, teamwork, and ultimately our resident care. Two, identify characteristics of healthy communication and ways to create a more supportive work environment. Three, learn about different leadership styles and why transformational leadership can help foster a culture of respect. Four, practice responding to real life situations involving workplace incivility through cognitive rehearsal. And five, understand the appropriate chain of command for reporting concerns and learn how to use the new anonymous reporting tool that has been developed by the facility or for the facility. We hope that today's training leaves you feeling more confident recognizing, responding to, and reporting workplace incivility. And here's a quick overview of what we'll be covering today. We'll start by defining workplace incivility and discussing why it matters. Then we'll share some of the feedback that we received from the staff surveys that we collected and discuss what employees at Regina Residence identified as challenges within their workplace. Next, we'll talk about healthy communication and leadership, specifically how leadership styles can influence workplace culture. We'll then spend some time practicing responses to common workplace situations through cognitive rehearsal activities. And finally, we'll discuss accountability and reporting, including our new anonymous reporting tool, the chain of command for escalating concerns, and our pledge of commitment to maintaining a respectful workplace. We'll end with a brief evaluation survey so that we can gather your feedback on today's session. Now I'm going to transition this presentation over to Mai to talk about what is workplace incivility.
Workplace incivility refers to disrespectful or discourteous or impolite behavior in the workplace that can make other people feel uncomfortable, undervalued, or unwelcomed. These behaviors might seem small individually, but when they happen repeatedly, they can negatively affect the work environment and team relationships. Examples would include rude comments, interrupting others while they're speaking, dismissing a coworker's idea, excluding a team member, gossiping, or communicating in an unprofessional or disrespectful way. And in healthcare, where teamwork and communication are essentials, these behaviors can impact staff morale, collaboration, and ultimately the quality and safety of resident care. Now that we have defined workplace incivility, let's look at why it matters and how it affects both staff and resident outcomes. Workplace incivility doesn't just hurt one person, it affects everyone. First, it affects staff. When people are treated disrespectfully, they can feel stressed, tired, and unhappy coming to work. Some people might even decide to leave their job. It also affects teamwork. Staff might stop trusting each other. Communication becomes harder, and conflicts might happen more often. When teamwork and communication are poor, it can affect our residents. Important information might not be shared, care might be delayed, mistakes are more likely to happen, and the quality of care can go down. Our goal is to create a respectful workplace where everyone feels supported. When we treat each other with kindness and respect, we work better together and provide the best care possible for our residents. And I'm going to hand this over to Sanjo. He'll be talking about the survey results.
Thank you, Mai. So first, I wanted to thank everyone for who took the time to complete our workplace culture and communication survey. We received 46 responses, and your feedback played a huge role in helping us better understand what staff are experiencing here at Regina. One of the first things we found was that 67% of you felt that workplace incivility is a problem here to some degree, whether that's minor or more serious. We also found that the average lowest rated survey item was related to concerns feeling unresolved, which suggests that some staff may not always feel heard or supported when issues arise. At the same time, there was some encouraging feedback as well. Nearly 89% of you uh, responded said that you can still collaborate well enough to meet the sisters' needs. And that tells us that there's already a strong foundation of teamwork here, which you all should be very proud of. The goal of today's presentation isn't to focus on the negatives. As we mentioned, it's to really build on what's already working and explore ways we can strengthen communication, support one another, and continue creating, a respectful workplace for both staff and the sisters. So now that we've talked about some of the challenges identified in the survey, let's shift our focus to the solutions. So one of the most effective ways to reduce workplace incivility is through healthy communication. This not only involves what we say to each other, but also how we say it. Many conflicts don't start uh, because people have bad intentions. They often happen because of stress, misunderstandings, assumptions, or communication that comes across differently than we intended. Therapeutic communication isn't just something we use with our residents, it's also something we can use with each other. Um, in addition, it also means active listening. Sometimes simply giving someone your full attention, avoiding interruptions, and asking a clarifying question can prevent a misunderstanding from becoming a conflict. When we also provide constructive feedback, focusing on the issue rather than the person helps keep conversations productive and respectful. When possible, feedback should be given in privately rather than in front of others when appropriate as well. And then finally, teamwork and support are essential. Offering help when a coworker is overwhelmed, communicating concerns in timely fashion, and working together toward providing excellent care to the sisters all contribute to a more positive work environment. At the end of the day, how we communicate with one another has a direct impact on teamwork, job satisfaction, and ultimately the care we provide our residents. And now I'm going to pass it over to Sanam, who's going to talk about our leadership styles.
It is important to understand the other common leadership styles and how they compare. The first style is laissez-faire. In this approach, employees have a high level of autonomy. The leader acts as a facilitator, providing resources and support when needed, but they don't closely monitor day-to-day work. Instead, decision-making is often delegated directly to the team. Next, we have the autocratic style. This is the opposite end of the spectrum, where the leaders hold all the power. They set very clear expectations and directions, and they maintain close supervision over the staff to ensure tasks are done exactly as specified. Finally, there's transactional leadership. This style focuses on task completion. Leaders use positive or negative reinforcement to encourage team members to get the job done. They create specific, achievable goals, which helps reduce confusion in the organizational hierarchy. A key feature is that it also allows employees to choose their incentives based on their performance. Out of these leadership styles, transformational leadership is the best fit because it focuses on creating a positive and supportive work environment rather than simply managing tasks. A transformational leader primarily inspires and motivates employees instead of just focusing on day-to-day tasks or strict oversight. They encourage innovation and creative thinking, giving the team the space to find new solutions. Additionally, this type of leader actively supports professional growth and mentorship, helping individuals develop their own careers.
By doing all of this, they build a strong foundation of trust and teamwork, which connects perfectly with our goal of leading with respect. As we look at the puzzle pieces coming together in the graphic, you can see how collaborative, supportive environment is what helps our entire team succeed. Now that I've discussed the characteristics of transformational leadership, this slide explains why it is the best leadership style. Transformational leaders support a respectful work environment. They don't just talk about it, they actively empower staff to address workplace incivility head on while modeling positive behavior themselves. When we have this kind of leadership, it creates psychological safety. Employees feel encouraged and safe to speak up, voice their concerns, and tackle conflicts in a respectful, constructive way. As a result, the staff feels genuinely supported, valued, and engaged in their daily work.
Alrighty, now we're going to shift some gears and do a little something more interactive. So, cognitive rehearsal is a strategy that helps us to prepare for difficult conversations before they happen. Sometimes, when we're faced with rude comments, gossip, or disrespectful behavior in the moment, it's hard to know what to say. By practicing these situations ahead of time, we can help to build confidence and become more comfortable responding professionally and respectfully when workplace incivility occurs. As we go through these scenarios and you guys think about your answers, just a reminder that there are no such thing as a perfect answer. We simply want to think about how our responses can support each other and keep our residents' best interests at the center of our actions. So, scenario one, a CNA asks another CNA for help with another resident. The coworker rolls their eyes and says, "That's not my resident." How would you respond in this situation while keeping the resident's best interest in mind? Some answers we got from our in-person sessions include, "I understand they're not your assigned resident, but I could really use some help to make sure they're cared for safely." Someone also said, "Can you help me this time? I would do the same for you if you needed assistance." The next question is, how might this interaction affect teamwork and resident care? Again, from our in-person sessions, some responses we received were, this could create feelings of frustration and resentment among staff. It could reduce trust and willingness to help one another in the future. It can contribute to a negative work environment and workplace incivility, and it can also decrease collaboration and communication among team members. Regarding resident care, it can lead to delays in meeting residents' needs, increase the risk of miscare or safety issues, higher the likelihood of staff rushing tasks or making errors, and residents, again, may feel the tension among the staff, which can affect their sense of comfort and trust. This situation reminds us that although residents may be assigned to certain staff members, resident care is ultimately a team effort. Now let's look at the next situation. Alrighty, so scenario two, a new CNA asks where supplies are kept. A senior staff member says, "How do you not know that already? Figure it out." How do you think this response might make a new employee feel? Some responses we got from our in-person sessions included embarrassed or humiliated, nervous about asking questions, unsupported or unwelcome to the team, and less confident in their abilities. How do you think this response might affect the new employee's willingness to ask for help in the future? Some responses we received were they may avoid asking questions altogether. It can lead to mistakes, delays in cares, or safety concerns for residents, and it can also create a culture where staff are afraid to speak up. And lastly, what would be a more respectful way to respond? Some responses we got from our in-person sessions included, it can take time to learn where everything is. Feel free to ask if you need help. I remember being new too. Let me point you in the right direction. Someone else also brought up another respectful way to respond is following up with them after you direct them in the right direction in a few minutes or the next time you see them, just ask them, "Hey, did you have any problems finding it, or is there anything else I can help you with?" It's just important to remember in this scenario that comments like this can make employees feel embarrassed, unsupported, or afraid to ask for help. Over time, this can contribute to poor communication and mistakes because staff may stop seeking clarification when they need it. Now let's move on to the last scenario. Scenario three, during lunch, staff members begin talking about another employee who called out sick. saying she's probably faking it. Why can gossip like this be harmful to the workplace culture? Some answers that we received were it can create an environment of distrust and negativity. It can damage relationships between coworkers and lower workplace morale. It can also encourage assumptions and judgment without knowing the full situation. It can make employees feel unsafe or worried that they may be talked about when they're not present. And it can contribute to a culture where staff feel unsupported and less likely to communicate openly. How could you respectfully redirect or respond to this conversation? Some answers that we received from our in-person sessions include, we don't really know what's going on, so it's probably not best to assume. I hope she's okay. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't want someone making assumptions about me if I had to call out. And let's focus on what we need to get done today to support each other. It's important to remember that gossip can be damaging to trust, create division among coworkers, and contribute to a negative work environment. Choosing not to participate in gossip is one way we can all contribute to a more respectful workplace culture. And now to get into accountability and reporting. Now that we've talked about recognizing and responding to workplace incivility, the next step is accountability and reporting. One of the things we've heard from staff through our surveys was that some employees don't always feel comfortable reporting concerns or aren't sure where to go when they experience workplace incivility. Because of that feedback, our team wanted to create an additional resource that makes reporting easier, more accessible, and more comfortable for everyone. So again, we heard from many of you that reporting concerns can sometimes feel intimidating and that there may be uncertainty about who to go to when concerns arise. To address these concerns, we've developed a new anonymous QR code reporting tool. Through this form, staff can 1, submit a workplace concern, 2, recognize a compliment or coworker, or 3, they can also choose to remain anonymous if they prefer. The form follows the appropriate chain of command, and QR codes will be posted throughout the facility in break rooms, bathrooms, and hallways so that they're easily accessible to all staff. Our hope is that this tool helps to create a culture where concerns can be addressed early, positive behaviors be recognized, and everybody feels empowered to speak up and help build a respectful workplace that both our residents and our staff deserve. Now I'll transition this over to Kaylin to talk about the proper chain of command.
Thank you, Catherine. So we encourage all employees to speak up respectfully if they observe behaviors that do not align with our commitment to a professional and supportive workplace. For day-to-day operational concerns, you should generally follow the normal chain of command by first speaking with your team lead or supervisor. However, if your concern involves your team lead or supervisor, or if you're simply not comfortable reporting to that individual, you should know that you may also report directly to the clinical director, which is Cami, the director of Regina Residence, Leandra, or human resources, which is Cindy. The goal here is to make sure you always have someone to turn to, so no concern goes unheard. Now I want to pause on this mission statement by the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange because it really is the foundation for everything we've covered today. The quote says, "We live and work that all people may be united with God and with one another." Civility, respectful communication, and accountability aren't just policies. They're how we bring this mission statement to life every day with our sisters and with each other. Now, this is the Pledge of Commitment Agreement. This is your personal commitment to the civility, communication, and leadership standards we've discussed today. If you can, scan the QR code right there, and then please take a few minutes to read through each statement carefully after the session concludes, initial next to it, and then sign at the bottom. And then once you've signed, you can also save this as a document for your own records, and then it will go straight to HR. And then I just want to emphasize, this is a shared promise to build the kind of respectful workplace our sisters and each other deserve. And then before we wrap it up, please also scan this QR code. This is going to be an evaluation survey to help us evaluate the effectiveness of today's training and also its improvements going forward. Thank you all for your time and engagement today, and this will conclude our training session.